having a blessed day and have a blessed day. I haven't been out for a while, wasn't been feeling well, so haven't had too much to talk about. But man, I tell you, it's so many things to talk about as we speak now. First thing I know I want to talk about 45. You know, I love my favorite subject, politics. Once again, folks, Jack Gill. You can reach me at lgifford.com. And also, you can reach me on Twitter, Cbar underscore forever. Reach me on Facebook at jackgifford.facebook.com. Also, you can reach me on Skype. Maybe have a live conversation and talk about it. Basically, I just want to get it, man, U.S. The U.S. is spinning. I mean, we are spinning so bad, it's amazing. Donald Trump, which I hate to say his name, I say it all the time, I call him 45. But 45 was able to get through again. It's amazing that this guy can do things and say things and no repercussion comes from it. The Mueller report was in, and Mr. Trump has got away again. Or at least he think he has. I just still think that it's going to be more to come. I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Everyone said the integrity of Mr. Mueller was great. This guy's an honest guy. He's the best guy you can have doing a case. He never loses. He never do this. Why in the hell was he doing the case if he wasn't able to prosecute? And the thing that gets me is he finds all these other people guilty and you know, going to prison, and what is it, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12 of them. So he finds all this action going on. He puts all these things into a report, but no collusion. And I said before, the reason why 45 was so upset with Mr. Sessions was because he knew that the Attorney General had the last say of what went on. So his main thing was to get Sessions out, put someone in that was on his side, and folks, we saw who was on his side. This gentleman come in, and within 1 week's time, he has the answer. He has the answer. No collusion, no obstruction. But all the things that went on in America, all things that went on the last 2 years, all these indictments and all these different narratives that came out and different things that were said. And this gentleman gets off. No issue, no problem, no collusion. But he ought to feel stupid, 45. Mr. Jim Kong Lu, the North Korean leader, he goes over to have a meeting with Vladimir Putin. So what that tells you? But I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it, and I'm going to keep saying it. Robert Mueller is a registered Republican. He was not going to do anything to destroy Mr. Trump. None of that was going to happen. So if you was holding your opinions for 2 years, that was the final say. We can't indict a sitting president. So what the hell we wasted all our money for? What was the money wasted for? 2 years. 2 years of money that was wasted on 448 pages of criminal mischief, things that was done wrong, and this guy gets exonerated. And I don't know how. Don't know how. Unbelievable. But it's another sad day. Another sad country. The country's still divided. That tells you a lot when the country is divided. It really is. And it's just sad that we have to go through this. Jack Gifford, ladies and gentlemen. Jack Gill Podcast. Take a quick break. Be right back with you. Jack Gill back with you, ladies and gentlemen. Jack Gill Podcast. Went to break talking about 45 and all of the things that Mr. 45 has going on, and he claims that he's exonerated in no way, no shape or form. I hope the American people understand that he has not been exonerated, and I just hope that we can still, some kind of way, if you're on the other side, find out what's going on. Because I said, and I said that Mr. Mueller is a Republican, and he was no way, shape, or form was going to do anything to criticize Donald Trump. And that's what happened. That's what happened. No way it was going to happen. So think about it, how you want it to happen, what you think how it should happen, or how the way it should have went. Also, Joe Biden has gotten into the uh, presidential 2020 race. I think it's a field now of 20 guys or gals and men. And oh, it's just so hard to even figure out who do you want to believe. I mean, just about every one of them has baggage. I'm quite sure everybody does. I think the country was trying to find something new with 45, and what they're finding out that it was nothing new with 45. He's been a trickster all of his life, and he's still a trickster. He repeatedly lies, and it's just amazing to me how if you have an aura in front of your name that you stick with this guy that lies. What kind of morals do we have? What is the morals like that we have that we can let a guy walk around and not only walk around but in control of the free world? And we allow him to do and say and act the way he acts with no repercussions. That's the bad thing about it. No one has no backbone, no backbone that has a R by their name to fight this guy, take this guy down, get him out of office. Let's get this country running good. You know, I mean, he brags about the growth of the country, job numbers. Well, I can remember for 8 damn years when we had a person with brown color skin in there as the leader of the free world. Those are bad numbers. Those are not right. They are not counting this. They are not counting that. But now they're counting them right. Because 45 in office, so everything's being counted. Unbelievable. And I don't get it. I don't get it how we allow this to happen. 45 wants to sue everybody. He's the only. If you heard, he had a speech today. They was talking about him. When they asked him about Joe Biden had got into the office, and he wants to call Joe Biden old. He wants to say he was old, and he told him he was getting ready to say I'm about the youngest man and the most fit person you ever see. Come on, man. You're 72 years old. You are 72 years of age. There's nothing young about you. My, America. My. This is what we have to deal with. This lightning in a bottle. So, folks, 2020, we all need to get out and vote. We have to get this crazy guy out of office. He's not good for this country, people. He is not good for this country. He's a racist. He lies. He's a pathological liar. Everything is him, him, him. See, that the part I don't get is we call ourselves Christians and we wants to do righteous thing and be right for the world or be right for your the people. You believe in Christ. How could you believe in Christ when you sit there and you call people thugs and murderers and rapists? And they bad for a country. How could you do that? How could you deny people coming in? They were killing in the old days. In the days of Adam and Eve. Killings in the Roman days. Moses. All the disciples. How they even killed Christ. So, how could you say that people that wants to come in and have a better life are murderers and killers? You would not let me understand that, 45. I won't believe it. So disappointing. It's disappointing that anyone else, a young man can have a speeding ticket. They'll bring us five SWAT cars to come pick him up for a speeding ticket because he got a arrest warrant for a speeding ticket. This guy can do everything with foreign countries and get away with it. Not only him, but his whole circle. Son-in-law, his daughter. They all was included in this. They all lie. Jack Gill, ladies and gentlemen. Take another break. politics. 45. That's 45. Still has been able to get away with doing a lot of things, and uh, we just have to deal with it. Have to deal with what's going on and what he does and the things he says, and um, we have to move on. I guess we have to move on because it just seems though that there's not going to be anything that's going to deter uh, government to go against him, whatever he says and whatever he does. It's astonishing to me how he gets away with saying the things that he says and the things that he does. It's just so amazing that nothing is ever done about it. So he's got a free pass. They have given him a free pass, so he feels that he can go and say and do what he wants to do. So I want to move on. Just quit talking about 45 there. Jump into a little bit of sports action tonight, and what has been a great 2 weeks of sports. First of all, I want to give great kudos to Tiger Woods. It takes some courage and some soul searching and so a lot of prayers to come back from what he come back from. I just want to congratulate him on the win that he did get at the Masters. So I think that puts him 2 or 3 behind the greatest Jack Nicklaus. And if you guys don't know Tiger from the start, Tiger whole demeanor is he can care less about all those other little golf tournaments, but he does play them. He's all about winning majors. He's all about championships. Pretty much you know, he don't care about those other ones. Basically, what he cares about is winning majors. How many of those can I win? How many of those can I surpass? Or how many of those can I win and beat people? So if he wasn't happy for him, so be it. But majority of the golf world was happy to see him back on top, along with myself, and just just knowing that he actually won it was the biggest thing about it. Uh, Winning the Masters is really a precious tool to be able to put on the green jacket. Um, so it was one of those days that made everyone proud. You know, Tiger really don't want anything. He's not wanting for anything. I think the only thing he wants now in life is to surpass the great Jack Nicklaus. I mean, Tiger's worth what he's worth about $800 million. 800 million, unreal. Mm. $800 million. Wow. Whew. Well, hopefully in my lifetime, maybe I'll see something like that. Hell, I can't even see 50,000, let alone 800 million. Well, what you do with all that money? $800 million. That's what Tiger Woods is worth. So kudos, Tiger, for winning the Masters. Great comeback, man. What a great comeback. You did a wonderful thing by coming back and showing the world that you didn't give up, that you are on top of your game. And now you got to keep playing, for one. I played that old game called golf for a while. I mean, you get into it and you play it, and when you go away from it, it's just no way you can get all that back. So that is one hard game. For you out there that don't think it is, go try it. Go see can you master the golf club, because it is a hard game to play, and that's for sure. I tried it, and it's hard to cover. Congratulations, Tiger Woods. I'm going to jump into the uh, NFL draft. Uh, we all knew that Kyler Murray would go number one, and he did to the Cardinals, and also the Cardinals turned around and traded Josh Rosen, which was really shocking to me. Uh, just didn't think they would. They made a big stink about drafting this kid number one last year, and you get what you get. Um, you get all these Monday morning quarterback that put these guys on a high pedestal and act as though uh, they are just the greatest thing from from sliced bread. It's amazing to me how these players come into the league. You pay them all this money. You make these guys uh, think they're invincible, and then at the end of the day, it's a game. Can you play this game? It's a game being played right by you. So that's just part of it. You really find out within a year's time, right? If this the guy for you. If not, there's always the NFL draft that you can draft you a guy that you think could work for you this year, because the NFL is pretty much a down by down, you know, sport. You can be there one down, the next down you can't. But they got it now so where the quarterback, he can last forever because you can't touch him. You cannot touch him. So he can last forever. That's the thing about being a quarterback. You can last forever. And nothing's going to be said. That's the bad thing about it. So Kyler Murray goes number one. Nick Bosa, who I think is totally overrated, is number two from Ohio State. I mean, the kid didn't even play this year. But name recognition, he gets in. I think Dad was there, now his brother, now he's there. So pretty much NFL's the same old, same old. It's a family deal. If your dad played, we're gonna try you, right? If your uncle played, we'll try you. Your brother played, we'll try you. I think he's totally overrated. Nick Bosa is totally overrated. Quentin Williams, the D line from Alabama, he's a pretty good player. I'm very high on him. Uh, Goes to the Jets, it's number three. Then you got Farrell from Clemson that goes number four, which I think it should have been in the place of Bosa. I thought he was just that good. Devin White to the Buccaneers, number five. He should have been number one or number two. I mean, with all the speed that he has, he should have been up there with him. Uh, and the surprising pick to me was the Giants at number six. I mean, Devin White, Giants, Devin White. But you know what? It's crazy. And I'm sorry, Daniel Jones was who the Giants picked at quarterback out of Duke. I'm speechless. I'm speechless because he knows the Mannings. Really? Because he knows someone? Unbelievable. Because he knows someone. So we pick a kid because we know him. Unbelievable to me. But that's the way the ball bounces. But I can tell you this, Giants, keep picking those kind of players because I said it before. I can't stand you. I'm a Cowboy lover. And the longer as you guys are struggling, I am satisfied. I can take a loss to the Redskins. I can take a loss to the Eagles. But I can't take a loss to the Giants. Keep picking them, Giants. You're doing a great job. Excellent job. Then you got Josh Allen, linebacker from Kentucky to the Jaguars. Pretty good, decent player. Uh, Detroit with the 8th pick. They picked a tight end out of Auer. I think Auer had two good, decent tight ends. Run good routes, catch the football, and that's one of the main things that they can do. At number 9, the Bills took Ed Oliver out of University of Houston. The kid was a All-American his freshman year. Total run stopper, sack master. Good pick. That is a good pick, Bills. Good pick. Then you Steelers picked Devin Bush, the linebacker out of Michigan. Decent player. Pretty much in that range there with the 10th pick. He's a top 10 player. The Bengals took Jonathan Williams, the old lineman from Alabama. Pretty good player. Rashard Gray for the Packers, the D lineman from Michigan. And Michigan has some stout players now. Michigan has some players that was pretty stout. You know, at the course of the year, they had these great defensive games. They had some great defensive games, and it was hard to figure those guys out for sure. It really was. It was kind of hard to figure them out. So they had some great players that's playing with them. So kudos to you, Michigan, for getting your players in there. Then you get the Dolphins at number 13. Christian Wilkins, D-tackle out of Clemson. Can't go wrong there. Clemson was dominant. You can't go wrong. But nobody that got drafted off of Clemson defense, the national champions, you can't go wrong. Pretty decent team. The Falcons at number 14 picked Chris Lindstrom, the offensive lineman from Boston College. You get a chance to see this kid play. But just watching some of the highlights, looked like he was a pretty decent player. Then the Redskins pick Haskins, the quarterback out of Ohio State. Now Haskins is I don't know. He can throw the ball, but he can't move. He's pure pocket passer. But what's going to happen when pressure gets on him? That's the bad thing. What's going to happen when pressure gets on him? Because watching him play without any mobility. Now, he does run, but he doesn't run. He could run, but he doesn't run. You know, he sort of remind me of Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott could run, but he don't like to run. But 15 pick, I think it's a good pick for the Redskins. I think he's gonna really give him some juice. You know, I don't look for him to come in and overwhelm anybody, but it's gonna take him. I give him 2 to 3 years if he lasts that long, and I think if he lasts that long, he'll be a pretty decent quarterback. At the 16th pick, the Panthers took Brian Burns, the DN out of Florida State. This kid is a monster. Great pass rusher. Always in your face. So good pick for you, Panthers. Good pick for you. Then the Giants turned around and got a hell of a pick. Now, this is a great pick for him. Dexter Lawrence out of Clemson. And I said before, if you get anybody out of Clemson, this year's squad, you've done a great job. Now, Mr. Lawrence is going to be a hell of a player in there. Tough to block. Big kid. Dominant kid. Now he's at the next level. He was already NFL ready. He could have left a year ago. Matter of fact, the whole defensive squad that was eligible could have left. But they stayed. They stayed for one reason only. That was to face Alabama and they smacked them. At the 18th pick, the Vikings picked Garrett Bradbury out of the center of North Carolina State. 19th pick, the Titans picked Jeffrey Simmons, defensive tackle out of Mississippi State. Pretty decent player. Pretty decent. 20 pick, the Broncos get Noah Front, the tight end out of ours, the second tight end. Him and the other kid earlier, they were a pretty much dynamic duo. Mr. Hockenson, T.J. Hockenson. Pretty good deal. Just watching them play, they were pretty decent players. The Packers had another pick. The 21st pick is Darnell Savage, the DB out of Maryland. Pretty decent player. And also the Eagles get the old lineman out of Washington State, Andre Dillard. Texans at 23, Titus Howard, old lineman out of Alabama State. I think he was the first number one pick out of Alabama State. First number one pick out of Alabama State. That has to be great. That has to be great. The Raiders again. Josh Jacobs, running back out of Alabama. Can't go wrong. Cannot go wrong. And this is my favorite pick of the first round here. The Ravens, 25. Marquise Brown, the wide receiver out of Oklahoma. Small in stature, but he'll be able to go by you. He reminds me of Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, the quarterback from Clemson, right? He kind of reminds me of him. Pretty much built the same size. Also, the receiver for the Eagles, what is his name? Jackson, right? I think he went back to the Eagles. Yeah, Deshaun Jackson also. He reminds me of him. They kind of built the same in quickness. Deshaun Watson's kind of in that built mold, but a little bit taller and can skirt a little bit. Redskins again pick the DN out of Mississippi State, Montez Sweet. I think they said this is the first time that Mississippi State had a couple of players that was picked in the first round. Actually, the Raiders picked at 27, Jonathan Abram. Yeah, so kudos to Mississippi State. Kudos. Chargers at 28 picked Jerry Tillett, D lineman out of Notre Dame. Decent player. Seahawks again pick a decent defensive end out of TCU. I got a chance to see this kid play, L.J. Collar. Pretty good player. Always in the quarterback's face. Pretty decent player. And I think he's going to help them tremendously. I really do. The 30th pick, the Giants again pick Mr. Baker, the DB out of Georgia. Pretty hell of a player. I love him. He's a good player. DeAndre Baker. I thought he should have went higher, but no one was actually picking DBs in this draft. But if this was a DB draft, this kid here would have been the first pick. Pretty decent player. Love his game. The Falcons at 31 pick Caleb McCurry, offensive lineman of Washington. Then the 32nd pick is N'Keal Harry out of Arizona State. Great player. Pretty good player. Like his game. So, first round was in, folks. I think this is probably one of the deepest draft that you'll find. And I think most of those kids are all going to do well. So, my hats off to them all for getting into the money. I can say my team, Cowboys, picked Tristan Hill in the second round, the 58th pick. Defensive lineman out of UFC. This kid here, big kid. Let's just put it that way. 310 pounds. Run stopper. That's what they need. Someone that's not even going to get moved. 308 pounds. You have to double team him. So, good pick, Cowboys. Great pick. I love that pick. And that's what we need. And we're needing defensive players. I mean, I think we pretty much look good on offense. And adding Randall Cobb for my Cowboys makes us pretty decent. So I think they'll be okay. I know our third round pick was another offensive lineman, which we need that also. You got to keep them fresh. You got to keep them fresh and young because once you get a couple of injuries with an offensive lineman, now you're really asking for it. Majority of them could come back and play, but the majority of them can't. They don't have the same footwork, the same skills. So good pick. Another good pick. Jack Gill, folks. Late night. Take another break. Be right back with you. Jack Gill back with you, ladies and gentlemen. Jack Gill podcast, where everything's talked about. I was talking about a little NFL draft. And isn't it amazing how you can sit back and just watch these kids just celebrate? I mean, all the hard work you put in and all the things that you do. Your parents are right there with you, and your family. You're surrounded by the loved ones, and how it makes you feel that from a little kid that you see these professionals, and you go to high school or even middle school. Actually, you start in middle school, you're playing all these little Pop Warner leagues, and uh, go to high school, and you become this standout, and a college offer you opportunity to play there, and um, it's just amazing. So, because the ultimate goal is to get to this next level where you can make some money and play the game that you love. It's nothing more rewarding than getting to that level and being able to play the game that you love. It sort of remind me when I know my oldest boy went off to school to play basketball. Then my youngest son went off to school to play basketball, and I tried every aspect of it to make it to every one of their games, and to see that. I know my oldest son ended up transferring right to home to play, and that was just rewarding because I did get a chance to go see him play. And my youngest son was over 8 hours away, but I made it my business to get up there to go see. So it's nothing more rewarding tend to be around family and friends, and you have made it to the ultimate place, becoming a professional, getting paid for doing something that you like to do. It's not a 9 to 5, right? So that's the biggest thing about it. I think 9 to 5, Joe, if you working harder than they are doing playing this football. I mean, these guys are making millions and millions of dollars, and you getting up every morning going to your 9 to 5, and man, and it's a struggle. It's a struggle. It really is. So kudos to these young men that have made it. God bless you. I hope you guys succeed. Hope things go right for you. And I hope you have a longevity career and a productive career. So, NFL draft, ladies and gentlemen. Hope your team picked the player that you was wanting them to pick, and I hope they succeed, and I hope it's right for you. My prayers go out to all of you guys. So I want to jump right into the NBA playoffs. Got a chance to look at some of that game tonight, which was the Golden State Warriors and the LA Clippers. Now, did anybody think the Clippers was going to win? I had a little. I was 20% on them, right? I mean, it's just so hard to watch, right? Because you just knew that the Warriors were going to pour it on. Kevin Durant had a monster night tonight, so not sure exactly what he finished with. I know as I'm glancing through it that most of the time he was couldn't miss, and it's probably one of the best feelings it is that you cannot miss, and then you can just actually sit there and just talk trash like they was doing all night. So now the plot thickens now. So it's the Warriors against the Rockets. So what do you think? What do you think? Warriors against the Rockets. I mean, I don't know the Warriors. I mean, pretty much coasted, right? 119, 101. Kevin Durant, 50 points. He probably could have had 60 if he'd have played even more. Uh, he just set the tone. So that's the ultimate team because here's your problem. Durant can go off for 50. Steph can go off for 50. Klay Thompson can go off for 50. Draymond Green can have a triple-double. Iguodala can get those scrappy plays for you. That's the problem you have with the Warriors. The Rockets, no. James Harden can get you 50. Chris Paul will have 12. Capello will have 14. It's not enough. I don't see nobody actually beating the Warriors if they come in ready, guns blazing, all out, no one to beat them. I mean, of course, you gotta look at who they're playing also now. They're playing the Clippers. Clippers got one legitimate scorer, Lou Williams. He comes off the bench. I think Doc O was paid for Gallinari. I think he's just a tall gentleman that's, had some mishaps, got a good opportunity, performed pretty decent, got overpaid, but he don't have no work ethic. No work ethic at all. He's just lounging around on the court. I mean, he's not down there banging, trying to get any rebounds. He's 6'10". But the season goes as the season goes, right? Is what I'm trying to say is what you've done this season does not go to what you're going to do next year because it never falls in that direction twice. It never goes that way. Also, we got a Game 7 coming up with my San Antonio Spurs against the Denver Nuggets. So, I don't know. Who you got? I think if the Spurs get in, they got a great chance of beating the Trailblazers. See, it's all about matchups in the NBA. It's all about matchups. And we all knew the Clippers didn't have nobody to match up with them. Now the Rockets do. The Rockets can score with you. Chris Paul is just got so much heart. He's not going to let you just do what you want to do. I like Tucker for the Rockets. He's just not going to let you do what you want to do. Also, the good matchup is going to be Capella against Bogut and forget the other gentleman that plays for the Warriors. The other center, who's athletic also. He reminds me of Capella. So, pretty Steven, it's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be a good matchup. Now, the one thing the Rockets don't have is Trevor Ariza and Abuki K, defensive players that don't mind sticking their neck and sticking their nose into your business. But I just don't see a guard for Kevin Durant. Who's going to guard Durant? Matter of fact, who the hell's going to guard Klay Thompson? I mean, I know Tucker's going to start off on Durant. But I really don't see no matchup. I really don't. Now, maybe the Warriors are weary. I mean, when you make those runs 2-3 years in a row, they're probably leg weary. But I guarantee you can go and ask LeBron James right now, and LeBron probably say, "Oh man, I want to go to playoff." Bullshit. You are so happy you're at home resting right now. You are so happy you're at home resting. I played the game. I played those long seasons at the amateur level, professional league, and just getting up, man, just staying in and out of hotels, traveling. Mind you, we traveling on vans and buses. We're not flying, but just traveling, playing 30 games out of a season or 52 games, actually. Strain on you, man. Strain on you. And you did it for what, 9 straight years? You go to the conference finals? To the NBA finals, actually. It's a strain. Everyone will say, well, the Celtics did it. Well, we didn't have this many teams, neither. They didn't play that many games, neither. So every time I see these modern day players that pass as one of those legendary players in whatever assists, points, whatever it is, you gotta take in consideration. They didn't play that many games. They didn't have that many teams back then. So some of those records are with an asterisk on it, in my opinion. Some of them has an asterisk on it. So we get down to the Eastern Conference where we have Boston and Philly. That's going to be a great series, folks. That's going to be a great series. It really is. I mean, I don't know what else you can ask for. Is it Boston and Philly, or is it Toronto and Philly? It's probably Toronto and Philly. But it's going to be a great matchup. So, yeah, it's Toronto and Philly that actually plays in the series. And Boston has the Bucks. And you know, for some reason, and it's just me, I keep forgetting about the Bucks are in the playoffs. You keep forgetting about it. They are quietly the best team in basketball, record-wise. Probably got the MVP and a Giannis. And you forget that they're in the playoffs. They're the number one seed. You forget it. And they have crushed everybody they played. They have crushed everyone they have played, folks. So it's going to be interesting. Celtics and the Bucks. Sixers and the Raptors. Rockets and the Warriors. Denver or San Antonio against the Blazers. Man, this is good. It's getting good. I don't know about you. If you're not a basketball fan for us NBA-wise right now, this is great. Great matchups. Great matchups all around. You can't beat it. Awesome matchups. But I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to go ahead and pick my NBA champion. I got two, actually. I got the Toronto Raptors or the San Antonio Spurs. That's my team, folks, the Spurs. That's my team. So, you know I got to pick my team, right? Yes, the Toronto Raptors or the San Antonio Spurs will be the NBA champion. I like the Bucks. Don't get me wrong. I like the Bucks, and would love to see someone different win it for a change. Either the Rockets. I hope they win it. If the Spurs get knocked out tomorrow, I'm rooting for the Rockets. The Rockets get knocked out, I'm rooting for Toronto. And after that, who wins it, wins it. But one thing I don't want to see, and that's the Golden State Warriors with the trader on their team, Kevin Durant. Well, sell out. That's the one thing I just didn't get. That he actually went to a 73-win team. You was up 3-1 and you lose to him, then you go join them. And all your great accomplishments that you're getting now is set up because you are playing with, you actually had 4 great players for this year. You had Clay and Steph, and you had Draymond, and you had Boogie. I don't even count Draymond half the time. He can't shut up. But I do like Clay, and I do like Steph. So those are two good players that anyone would love to have on their squad. It make a difference for them by having them two. So kudos to the NBA. They got it right this year. Good teams in there. I think it's gonna go down to who wants it more. But we are gonna have some great series. Great series coming up. So said before, if you are an NBA player, NBA fan, this is your show. This is your year. This is your time of the year. So, ladies and gentlemen, Jack Gill podcast, where everything's all talked about. Uh, I hope you had a great day and have a good rest of your night and many blessings. And make sure you say a prayer. Jack Gill, folks.